And everyone, thank you for joining me today. This is not going to be my usual videos as I do, because I have a standard I usually do my videos with, but I'm back on the bank again. This time I'm on the River Rhymney. If I catch any fish, it'll sort of be like a handheld position of any fish if I am lucky enough to catch them. But first of all, I'd like to start out with a bit of a shout out in the way of a thank you to a couple of recent subscribers to the channel, and this is going by their YouTube channel names. So it's the Autistic Angler, Carolina, Logan Brindle, and Father Yeti. And I'm reading them out because that's how I've seen them. They're sort of people that have commented on a few of my videos, and I thought, seeing as they'd subscribed to the channel, I would therefore give them a bit of a shout out as a way of a thank you. And remember, the channel is free to subscribe to. You just hit the red button, simple as that, and it's a thumbs up for a like, and then hit the notification bell to get notified of any new videos that's coming out. So I'll try and swing you around as best I can, but bear in mind I'm just holding this by hand. So there's the river. Lucky enough, as I'm doing this, the sun's just gone behind a cloud. It's a really bright morning. It's about 7:30 in the morning, and I'm still working at the moment myself. I haven't retired yet, as some of you people out there may think I have, but I haven't. So I just finished a night shift. I come off a night shift, and I'm here now on the banks of the River Rhymney. I haven't wet the line. I am set up because I set it all up prior to coming down here this morning. But I haven't wet the line yet, and I haven't put any bait in the river yet. But if I do catch a fish, like I said, it'll be quite awkward to show you, so you're going to have to bear with me on that. I've got no keep net with me. I've got my landing net with me. So I'm going to start some fishing now, and like I said, it won't be my usual angle of fishing, because I'll be just sort of panning around to where the fish is. I won't be able to sort of hold them in my hands like I usually do. You'll just be seeing them in the landing net. I mean, that's going to be the best I can do. I have got my tripod with me, but there's a connection that I've left at home. It enables me to stick this camera that I'm using now onto a tripod, and that tripod I've left at home because as some of you anglers that may have watched these videos may know, that I've got a GoPro, and the connection for this camera was on the GoPro, which I've left at home. So that's enough of me waffling on now, and that's my introduction, obviously. So 20th of July, so let's just see how I get on. Okay guys, to get you any shot of this water at all, what I'm going to have to do is try and tuck the camera down the front of my coat, and I'm afraid that's about the best I can do. So it's not the best, as you can see. I'll try and tilt you a bit more forward. Okay guys, what I have noticed just now is there's a cormorant working the river below me, so I thought it was going to be hard being it's so low and clear anyway, but the fact there's a cormorant in here, I sort of like put a right downer on it. As I let the float go down about 50 yards or so below me, and I can see a bit of movement in the water, and then up popped that long neck we're all familiar with, and there was a cormorant. So he spotted me, so whether that will make him move on or not, I don't know. But he was sort of, I'll pan you down now, whether he'll be able to make it out or not, I don't know. He was sort of down by where all those broken trees and logs are in the water. And because the sun is shining right down in that area, you know, when he picked up, sorry, I'll say it again, when he came up from what he was doing, trying to catch the fish, that long neck, the sort of the silhouette, made him very noticeable. Now he's gone further down, more into where the shadowy area is. But if you've ever watched a cormorant feeding, which I was lucky enough to do there one time, I fished up on the River Mono and I was catching a couple of dace there, and along came a cormorant, and it was unaware of me being there. It was sort of like 3 foot of water, moving water as well, and the bird was just like a snake in the water. You would have to see it to believe it. The way they move their neck round and dig at all the fish, they try and get them into the corners, into the bank, and they'll just like dive into a shoal, and they just try and stun them with their beak first, and then they'll pick them off. Now whether he's going to show up again or not, I don't know. But if he's been working this swim where I am, he will have put paid to the fish here for a while. And they can hold their breath, cormorants can. They can sort of stay underwater for a while. And even though you can't see the bird, it could well be working right when I'm fishing. You know, it's got quite a lot of cover on the other side of the water. So when it wants to come up for a bit of air, it can sort of come up in between all those branches and trees without me knowing, and then dive back down in the water. I have noticed over here once or twice before, and you know, they're the plague of every fishery you go in now, the cormorant, because they'll definitely pick off all the small fish, and the bigger fish, if they can't eat them, they'll sort of stab them in the side and try and swallow, sort of like a pound fish. They'll easily swallow that straight down. So there we are. That wasn't a good sign for me. Anyway, back to the fishing. Obviously this is not going to be a massive video for me. You've heard me talking quite a lot on this video. The fishing has been a struggle. I sort of been feeding it as well as I could. Only small drip feeding of maggots and the hemp. Lately I've knocked the hemp off on the head, so to speak, because I was getting the feeling that the fish that were here in front of me were picking at the hemp. You know, if there's grain here, they'll readily take a hemp grain and they'll leave the rest. So I've knocked that on the head now with the hemp, and I just loose feeding maggots. Any fish that swims will take a maggot, and I do know that the chub that used to frequent this area where I am now, they'll readily take a red maggot. Now the maggots I've got, which I'll sign panny roll, is the red maggots and the hemp. The red maggots are about a week and a half old now. They've been in the fridge. So if you've got any mind to keep any maggots, you'll have to keep them cool in this weather, because as probably a lot of the guys that may watch these videos will know, they'll soon turn into casters, and then you'll have a load of flies if you don't keep them in the fridge. But they do last a couple of weeks in the fridge. Obviously you need to put a bit of sawdust in with them and keep an eye on them, because if they've gone too far into the caster stage, then you know, you're going to have to try and pick out the casters by putting them into, well, what I usually do is riddle the maggots off, and then I have got a maggot riddle which the maggots will fall through, and the casters are left behind. It's a bit of a tiresome job. You know, it's far easier to go to a tackle shop like Gary Evans in Whitchurch Road and buy yourself a pint of casters. And if you want to do that, you're better off ordering them, because there's a lot of guys use casters now. Fishing's got quite popular again. So, but if you wanted to turn your own, that's the way to do it. Is buy yourself a maggot riddle and a tray to go underneath it. It's like a rectangular bowl, if you like, and it has to be the right size for the riddle as well. And then you riddle the maggots through. What's left behind then will be your casters. When you finish doing that, put them in some water, and the ones that float, take them out. You can use them as your hook bait. The ones that sink, put them in a bag. Take all the air out of the bag. I usually use a freezer bag myself, and take all the air out of it, and they'll keep for probably a week in the fridge again. Again, if you haven't got a fridge, the only other alternative you will have is if you've got a brick shed, and keep them in some cold water, because you know you will get a few days out of them like that. Put them anywhere near the sun, and they'll probably be no good for man or beast within the day. So enough of my waffle. I'm going to try again now for you, see if I can catch something. I'll give it a bit of a rest now, so whether that's going to encourage anything to feed or not, I don't know. Catch you in a bit. Right guys, after a lot of perseverance, I've sort of hooked about 3 grayling, I'd say about half a pound or so, and they've managed to slip the hook as I was bringing them in. What I've did is I had a size 16 hook on, so I've moved up into a more shaded spot here now, because the other spot, the sun was on the water and it killed it a bit. Although the bush where I usually fish against is in the shade, for the life of me I couldn't get any bites out of that swim. I sort of had about 2 grayling on, which managed to slip the hook, annoyingly for me, because I couldn't show you the fish either. But now I've hooked into a chub about a pound or so. I've got him in the landing net. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the camera around. May end up in a bit of a tragedy, not for the fish, but me holding the fish. So there it is. There's a decent chub, about I'd say it's about a pound or so in weight, just over a pound maybe. And you know, that is the result, because the last one you see me catch was sort of about half a pound or so. This one's a bit bigger, in perfect nick, like the other fish was. It's already been rested in the side, in the flow of the water. So now I'm going to actually attempt to hold the fish, but this, like I said, it could turn out to be pear-shaped, this. And as you know, I'm holding the camera, so it's not going to be an easy feat, because he's gone in the water straight away. So there's the fish. It's about a pound or so. Lovely, lovely chub. As you can see, it's not the easiest thing for me to hold, and I'll be putting him back in straight away. So that's the result for me today, and that's the second time I fished the river, and it's the second time I've had a result on here. So he's just swimming off. I don't know whether you can make that out. He's just going through the water there. Lovely. So he's gone on his way. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be, because like I said to you earlier on, I finished a night shift, so I haven't had any sleep yet myself. I've come straight down the river after finishing a night shift. So I've been down here a couple of hours now. It's just gone 10:15 in the morning, and I've got down the river at about 7 o'clock. So that's taken me about 3¼ hours to catch that fish. I did have a grayling on in the same swim as what I'm fishing here now, and I managed to slip the hook, but I was on a size 16 hook again. And I got it quite close in, but as I lifted the rod up, because I was keeping it low to keep it, because it's only very shallow here at the moment, you're talking about like maximum of about 12 inches deep. I kept the rod as low as I could, so it wouldn't come straight up to the surface. But as soon as I lifted the rod up to land it, it pulled out. Anyway, enough of that waffle, and I'll see if I can get another one. Knock you off again for a sec. Okay guys, that really does have to be it for me today. So that's a couple of times now this summer I haven't blanked on this particular river as well, albeit by like a single fish. Today I did hook 3 grayling, which I was mentioned earlier on. He managed to slip the hook. Everyone who fishes a grayling will tell you how wily they can be. And I think the big difference made was for me today is when I stepped up the hook size to a size 14. I think the smaller hook made it more difficult for me to catch the grayling because they've got very bony mouths, grayling have, and they are very wiry as well. And especially when it's low like this, they sort of hug all the bottom and all the rocks and whatever, and they do find it quite easy to pull off your hook. So a couple of tips here now. The bait I've got left, I've got my red maggots and the hemp seed. Now I said to you earlier on is you can turn them into casters by reeling them, and the other alternative is, and I can show you it is an excellent bait, is if you clean them off with a riddle, the red maggots that is, and then put them, keep them in the container, put them in very warm water, not boiling water, so very warm tap water, not as hot as you can get it, but warm enough to sort of, it kills them basically, that's what you're doing. And that is excellent for fishing on a lake. If you're fishing in the margins and you start putting a couple of these dead maggots in, and you fish with a margin pole in the side with a margin float and a margin float setup as well, you'd be surprised how many fish you'll catch with that. Because I've done it on Emerald Pool myself, and I did catch quite a few carp with that. So that's another thing you can do with the maggots. And obviously, because they are quite expensive now, but it's nothing like they used to be. You used to sort of be able to get a pint of maggots for £1 a time. So what I'm going to do with mine for the time being is put them in the fridge, and what I may well do then, give it a sort of another few days, because they've been out in the sun now. Oh, they're about a week or so old. And another tip is as well, I know I'm going on about these tips all the time, but if you've got maggots that are about a week old, they're better for feeding in and better for on the hook because they're tougher. They're a tougher hook bait than a fresh maggot, and also they are inclined to sink better as well, because the fresh maggot, just off the feed, if they've been fed on meat or something, they can be quite greasy, and they do float round in the water a bit more, and that being the case, they will drift out to your swim faster in a flow. So that's something to bear in mind when you're using old maggots, is don't think because they're old they're of no use, because they're okay. And as far as the hemp's concerned, what I'm going to do with that, because again, I've got this, I'll show you the tin. It's Sonu Baits natural hemp. Now that is quite expensive in itself, although that's only a small tin. What I'll do with that is I'll put it in a freezer bag and I'll put it in my freezer, and that'll be as good as new really when you defrost it. But whatever you do with that, don't sort of leave it in a fridge or leave it outside of a fridge, obviously, even if you think it's in a cold shed, because that's going to go mouldy. I can tell you that for nothing, and you'll have like useless bait, because any fish that's got any presence of mind won't go anywhere near that. So I'll give you a quick look at this swim. There's fish popping up here and there, but a lot of these fish are like small brown trout and grayling, and they're taking flies off the water. I mean, unless you're a fly fisherman, you'd be really lucky to catch one of them. You sort of have to have nothing down the line and just let it go down and chance your hand, but then you've got a massive chance of having a big tangle doing that. So although I only sort of put one shot down the line, which may be a number 8 or number 6, I don't have anything else down the line. There is a bit of weight on there. And today I was only fishing 30 centimetres to 35 centimetres deep, because you can see by the size, you can see how shallow that is. Thanks again to all you subscribers who've subscribed to this channel lately. And once again, just to reiterate, if you care to subscribe to the channel, it's free. Just click on the red button, thumbs up then for the like, and hit the bell for notifications of any up and coming videos. So with that, it's goodbye from me again, and hope to catch you soon on the bank. But I've had just about enough now. I've been up quite a few hours and I've done a night shift, and I am back in again tonight. It's my last shift tonight, but I do need to get in, have something to eat and have a few hours before I go back into work. So bye folks, bye for now.